I never had the privilege of meeting Leo Adler. I certainly grew up here during the time that he was super active, but I didn't get to personally meet him. I think what inspired him is just the love of this community. It's been told so many times to us that, and stories have been told about how he loved to watch people achieve, whether that be something small in this community, whether it be leaving this community and going on and furthering their education and doing something big, on the East Coast or overseas.
I mean, that's the long and the short of it is, Leo would have done anything for Baker, and Leo did anything. He did everything he could for Baker. He loved Baker, and Baker was good to him, and he was good to Baker. But yeah, I think what inspired him was Baker was the love of his life, and the people of Baker. He loved the people of Baker.
I think his business allowed him to develop his interest in people, and I think that every day inspired Leo because he had such a wide range of people that his business provided. I think that that stimulated that, but I do think the other thing that inspired him was the people that were working for him, because those were not high-paid jobs. To me, the basic he had was respect and loyalty. And those two things, I think, got him up to go the next day because he felt that he could not live in a better place than Baker. And the flip of the coin was Baker could not have had anybody better than Leo.
The Leo Adler Foundation, we do scholarships for our kids, which are renewable for 5 years. We also do community grants for our nonprofits. So it's a very busy foundation to be part of, but it's incredibly rewarding, and we take it very seriously. Leo Adler, when he passed away, left about $20 million to our community. He very thoughtfully crafted his will, which then was turned into the Leo Adler Trust. There was a lot of thought and discussion put into this because Leo was such an important part of our community. He was quiet in a lot of ways, but he was first at the table if somebody had something that they wanted to get done.
So I think what he desired to do, and the way that the foundation was structured to start with, is he wanted to give people opportunity, but he didn't want to give everything to them. He respected effort because his effort was pretty substantial. So again, I think that's what he did.
So Leo Adler Foundation started with $20 million. Just a few weeks ago, we just did our scholarships, and our fund is sitting at about $25 million. And that depends on the stock market. And we have given out just over, I believe, $38 million.
I mean, but the point is, that's what would bring, that's one of the desires and inspirations that Leo had, is he would always be looking for things that improve Baker, basically, or spread the word of Baker. And then the other one that I think you look back at when the Baker Hotel was built, the financial responsible fundraiser was for that? Leo. And he was 32 years old. So he had that talent of, and I think really his most important quality in my mind was respect and loyalty. He respected everyone.
It's astounding. If you think about the amount that the Leo Adler Foundation has invested back in the community, that is typically just the beginning, because a lot of that is seed money where projects and community organizations will go and get other grants. And so, it's exciting to watch Leo's money grow and into bigger and brighter things.
This is one of my absolute favorite Leo stories. So soon after I got on city council, and as I told you, I came up through the golf board, and so there was talk about expanding the golf course to 18 holes, and so we thought, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And we looked at property all over the place. We looked at across Indiana on the hill there, and we looked out towards Haines, and Rob and Diane had bought a pasture next to their property, not too long before all this, and they offered it for sale. And so it was an issue about, how in the heck are we going to raise the money to buy that land and expand the golf course? How are we going to get started with that? So, we've been talking about it a little bit, and Norm knew about it a little bit. And of course, Norm had property up there as well. It wasn't suitable for a golf course, but he's a golfer. And so Leo calls me up. He says, "Hey, why don't you and Art come by?" And I figured, like I say, I went to see him, because if I didn't see him, that's exactly what I do. Why don't you come by? And you never knew what come by meant. So, actually, we met him. I think we met him at the Royal Cafe. So we sit there, and we're having lunch, and he hands Art a check for $65,000 and says, "Go buy your golf course." Can you believe that? You could have knocked me over with a feather. And then, you know what he said? "Keep this among ourselves. I don't want any publicity about this." That's the guy who was. Leo inspired other. I know that there are other foundations that used his model as well. And then finally, I think Leo taught Candy and I the value of charitable giving as well. So, we're honored to be able to help in small ways. So yeah, I think every recipient and everyone involved in Leo, his legacy lives on.